Hollow Knight, Silksong, a 2D action-adventure Metroidvania, and highly anticipated sequel to the 2017 game Hollow Knight. What's the story, and how does it play? We'll get into that today. The story. You play as Hornet, a character from the first Hollow Knight game that served as a boss character, that soon became a friend depending on a series of events performed by you in the first game. A little bit about Hornet. Hornet is the daughter of the Pale King and Hera the Beast, the Queen of the Deep Nest. Her birth was a result of a bargain for her mother to become a dreamer, one of the three beings who enter into an eternal sleep in order to use their power to seal away the Hollow Knight. Due to this, she spent only a short amount of time with Hera. Since she shares the same father as the protagonist from the first game, the Knight, this technically makes them siblings. This time around, Hornet, aka Yu, the princess protector of Hollow Nest, is captured by outsider bugs and brought to their kingdom of Farloom. But you escape your cage before arriving at your destination. Now you must battle foes and solve mysteries to ascend on a deadly pilgrimage to this kingdom's peak. Exactly what is this place? What lies beyond the peak of the kingdom? Who are these bugs? Presentation. Silksong stays true to the visuals of the last Hollow Knight game, with little change. The style with bold and defined lines really makes this game feel a bit like a storybook that you can play in. This time you will explore coral forests, mossy grottos, gilded cities, and misted moors as you ascend to the shining citadel at the top of the world. Characters and enemies still look really cute, especially once they start talking, which usually involves random noises, with most of their emotions expressed with facial expressions and their actions. There is a collection of over 150 new foes ranging from beasts, hunters, assassins, kings, monsters, and knights. Hornet still looks the same from the first game, with her light red cape and her long needle that looks like a lance. The gameplay. If you have experienced Hollow Knight, then the system in place will feel very familiar to you. You have masks to represent your health in the upper left corner of the screen. You start with 5 masks, with opportunities to gain more masks as you explore this strange new world. You lose masks as you take damage, either from enemies or from environmental hazards like acid pools that can melt you, or spikes that can stab through your being. Like in the first game, you can regain your health by the use of the Bind ability, consuming a full Silk Spool. You can collect Lifeblood masks granted by Lifeblood needles for some temporary masks. What's notably different is that you are able to heal while on the move now, while in the first game you have to stand in place to heal yourself, which will come in handy. In addition to your masks, you have a silk meter to look after, which will be your ability meter that fills up every time you strike enemies. Silk thread is consumed when using special abilities, including a focus named Bind, which heals you. Every time you strike an enemy, your silk is filled by 2 laces. When the silk meter is full, the symbol representing on the side of the spool left to the health indicator is filled. Throughout your adventure, you can accept various quests given to you by NPCs all over Farloom. Your ongoing quests will appear on the notice boards that may be found in various towns, so you can keep track of them. Quests are divided up into 4 categories, with the first being Gathering quests, which will have you finding and collecting materials, the second, Wayfarer quests, presumably related to locating or exploring a specific area, the third, Hunt quests, which will have you killing specific enemies or groups of enemies, and finally, the fourth, Grand Hunt quests, presumably quests that involve boss kills. As Hornet, you get to utilize her skills when she was a boss character in the first game. Using your main weapon, the needle, you can not only slash or block attacks from enemies, but also use it to dash forward, stab, and bounce up above them. You can also use it alongside your abilities to deal greater damage or as a grappling hook. You'll also have access to tools, which are special items classed by categories, that can be equipped on a crest with limited slots. You can use them as throwing weapons or defensive aids without costing silk. You can change your crests and tools when sitting on a bench, similar to charms from the first game. You can repair and craft your tools at the bench by using shell shards that are dropped by enemies upon their defeat, or by destroying shell shard deposits. Hornet's fighting style is much more elegant and acrobatic than the Knight from the first game, with more fluid gameplay. Using the needle and silk together, your attacks are quicker and more diverse in your movements, being able to flip and leap about while dealing long distance damage. Your combat abilities are much more aerially focused too, being able to move freely when in the air and target attackers. You'll also have access to Hornet's AoE attacks seen in the first game, where you send pointed strings spiraling out from around you. You can also throw thumbtack-like objects, similar to caltrops, when battling larger foes to trap them in place. There's plenty of platforming to do, and they can be quite challenging, just like in the first game. There will be use of zip lines and airstreams that require precise timing to progress. You can wall jump, dash, and jump, but as Hornet, you can do all of that faster and higher. You can also grapple towards objects in hard-to-reach areas using your thread, rather than using the Monarch wings or the Mothwing cloak. You'll most likely not have access to most of your traversal abilities at the start of the game though. First impressions. Silksong is looking more and more like Hollow Knight, but in a whole new world, new traversal abilities, and new cute little bug enemies to stick your needle through. The movements and combat do look more fluid and faster paced, but that may just be my perception seeing Hornet zipping around. I did enjoy the first game, even though I haven't been able to finish it as I got hooked onto Dark Souls Remastered instead. In saying that, I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing Hollow Knight someday, and moving on to Silksong. I know many of you have been waiting for this, ever since it was announced about 3 years and 9 months ago. Although there isn't a release date as of yet, there are gameplay trails available in the meantime to quench your thirst. Hopefully it'll be released in the next 12 months or so. This game will be released on Steam, PlayStation 4 and 5, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. So what do you think about Hollow Knight Silksong? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video.
What?